Boys, I just came out of the shower, so I look horrible. But I just wanted to apologize because this video recorded very weird. It didn't record the start of it. So, oi, get. How we doing? But I'm actually doing a new segment, not on my channel. I've done this before, but like that people don't do. I'm doing a multi-reaction where a lot of people in my Discord will come in. They're OGs. Well, it's really just two people, and I think the third Dozer, but he didn't really talk a lot. You know, they come in there and we talk, so I have to like pause and restart it a lot because people will join and yap about nonsense. So I'm gonna be starting doing a like a channel in there so I can still hang out with my boys and still do YouTube content. But this is me, Fig, and Coger reacting to the Spud Hunter, a guy who's a Dark and Darker streamer that we used to watch, do a political video. God, I look horrible. I just came out of the shower. But that's it. The video ends weird because it's like it just didn't record all of it. And I'm gonna leave the link in the description so you guys can watch the full thing. Bye.
Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Today, Junior.
Okay. Social services is a Ponzi scheme. Looking after the young and old and veterans is a Ponzi scheme.
Curse potion.
Right. Not billionaires taking taxpayers'
potion of
money
infinite
as
stuttering.
government loans to enrich themselves even more. Are we all living on the same planet, guys?
You gave an answer on whether Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. The answer is no, right? It's not a Ponzi scheme.
Watch this. This is my favorite.
We have not reported that.
This is literally how me and Fig would be in politics, and this is why I need it.
Right. So it's not a Ponzi scheme.
I'm not aware that it's a Ponzi scheme.
Okay.
Agreed. No.
Okay.
Watch
so
this.
Mr. Musk is wrong. No one's gonna get fired for saying it. Right? He's wrong. You can say it.
He's like, go ahead.
It's not a Ponzi scheme.
It's okay. Come on.
Ponzi scheme is not a Ponzi. Okay. He's wrong.
Just reasserts 3 times. He's like, let's all say it 9 times. Let's just all say how dumb your CEO is real quick. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme, right? Right, guys? Just say it, pussy. You won't.
Hey,
One of the things we accidentally cancelled very briefly was Ebola.
What'd you want to say?
motherfuckers are just, they'll be conservative and they see that and they'll still vote for Trump and they'll still be supporting of Elon. Like, I'm just so, it's so many words in my brain.
I just don't like the whole masculinity campaign of like, oh, the right is like masculine, and then they see some shit like that and they can't answer a question, and I'm like, you're a pussy. You're the biggest pussy in the fucking world. If you can't answer a question, how do I expect you to stand and protect my country? Literally. How the fuck do I expect you to kill someone for my country if you can't answer a goddamn question?
Yeah.
But, you know, fuck me, I guess.
I think we all want Ebola prevention.
We're afraid to say that Elon Musk is wrong. That's what Mr. Frost was talking about when he says he hears crickets from my colleagues. We hear crickets from the witnesses because everyone is afraid when Elon says something, if it's patently false, we're afraid to say it's false.
I've been told by a couple random commenters on YouTube to keep my nose out of this because I'm an Australian. What would I know and why should I care? Telling me that it's wrong of me to express myself as an Australian, that America has sided up with Mordor and turned on its allies.
Canada will never join the United States. I can tell you that my parents were not millionaires from New York. They were workers from Shawinigan. But my mother taught us good manners. She would have been ashamed of me if I had treated anyone the way that the president treated my prime minister and the president in Ukraine in the last few weeks. The reason we don't want to become American is because our values as Canadians. We are proud Canadians, and yes, in fact, we owe a debt of recognition to Mr. Trump. He has united us as never before.
The rest of the Western world has been allied with America since the end of World War II with free trade and security guarantees. And... one second. Hello, Mr. Prime Minister. What? The Americans are now declaring a trade war on Australia and dumping tariffs on us? Don't they realise we've been friends for 80 years? Don't they realise we let them have a secret base in the middle of Australia that spies on China and the entire southern hemisphere that we don't even have access to or collaborate with them at the highest levels of our Australian government? Don't they realise we're helping them build submarines that in the big picture is going to cost Australia more, and now we don't even have security guarantees that they're going to look after us? How can we trust them? What did we do to them? You know what, Mr. Prime Minister? You can tell the Americans to keep the Foster's beer. They can keep that piss where it belongs, in America. Sorry about that, guys. Where was I? Oh, that's right. Can we all agree now that the new order of America affects everyone around the globe? You can bullshit yourselves all you want that the Orange Man is trying to bring back domestic production in America, but this isn't how you do it. You don't have to be an economist to know these guys are tanking the economy, and they're doing it for a reason. Could it be to send the United States into chaos so they can enact martial law? Could it be to collapse the government and the country itself so the billionaires can go up and buy everything cheap and privatize everything? Or could it be both? I'm gonna wager a bet, and it's both. And somehow it'll be the brown people's fault. Or Canada's. It is so abundantly clear to anyone with half a brain that any form of democratic process in Congress from here on out is purely theatre for the illusion of democracy. There are not many people in America left with a pair of testicles in positions of influence or government that are speaking up. Some are, but more need to for any significant change to happen.
A sad morning, very sad morning. This committee neglects its responsibility. Why you would relegate this committee to no longer being of significance and resort to saying you will do whatever Elon Musk and Donald Trump tell you to do. Where's the independence of the committee? Where's the legislature? We're an equal branch of government, and you start off with a flather, and yet look at the empty seats here. Where's Elon Musk?
You know, if we turn off this gigantic money magnet for illegal immigrants, then they will leave, and they will lose voters.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is that? Like, stare. Did you see that?
It's the I truly believe he believes what he's saying.
No, what is that? That's got to be drugs.
Adderall.
I think he's on ketamine. I really do.
I'm sure he's a genius and is a very credible person because of the wealth he's accumulated. But that does not put him above the law or the responsibility to come before this committee in this Congress. If he's so great, if these plans and all the fraud and abuse that he found are so evident, why isn't he here explaining it? You know why. Because he's out to privatize Social Security. He's been on television the last couple of days talking exactly about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and what he intends to do. Privatize it. The American people, some of them may have been born at night, but not last night. People are aware of this. Shame! Shame!
We're bringing it back, boys! We're bringing it back! That's what we need! Shame! Shame! Just start fucking going up the dumb motherfuckers and just start going, shame! God, I need it! I need it!
People in front of this body, if he's right, if they're so good, if they're so just, why aren't they here telling the American people about it? They're not, because you know the truth. It's about privatization. I yield back.
So where does America go from here? Unfortunately, the game is rigged now. I do not condone riots or violence of any form. I am, after all, just providing social commentary on the matter, as this is my way of expressing myself about the matter, all the way from Australia, where no doubt the new order are coming for us next.
The fact that all of these stupid corporations...
What is
Gary,
it?
come back in a little bit. I'm recording. Come back in a little bit. I'll at you. I'm not, hold up. Mother.
Let me change the status.
And I'm streaming. So he can just watch me on stream.
Just
like a good
allowed
friend.
to do the things that they're able to do is beyond me. And where my comedy act is right now is I'm trying to get regular people to stop yelling at each other and realize that it's a select few group of nerds eating raw almonds and doing their stupid workouts and everything and just competing with each other to have the biggest infinity pool, and the rest of us are getting pushed down. And they've politicized the whole stupid thing, and we're falling for it.
And who's the they? Besides people who eat almonds?
That idiot Elon Musk.
Oh.
That guy, like...
That's what I was trying to tell you earlier, Fig, is like, when we were younger, like, the idea of, like, what Bill Burr's saying right now, was, like, center-leaning. Left and right people did this. They were eating almonds, doing their 3 a.m. workout routines, blah, 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 right? But now, like, it's not that anymore. We're in an actual historical point in time, like, that we've learned our entire lives, where it's like, one side is winning, and they are extreme. And we need to bring America back to that center, where we're bitching and moaning about the stupidest shit again. Like, when I'm center-leaning again, and I'm not worried about, like, my grandpa having Social Security, or, like, the fucking VA being, you know what I mean? Like, when I go back to the Obama shit, where they're saying words that I don't even fucking comprehend, that's when America's America. We're not in America right now. We're in almost, like, the Fourth Reich, like he's saying. We're almost in the Fourth Reich. And it's, like, it's, just like he said, too, this is no red versus blue, this is no left versus right. This is now good versus evil. Like, it's, and it sounds like, because of the propaganda that's going on, it sounds like I'm being extreme, but I'm really not. Like, it's just like my grandpa said, because he's so old, he'll die. The sad part, like what Coger says, my grandpa, for the first time in his life, has to do the thing that every old person has done their entire lives, which was, well, you're just going to have to deal with it now, because I'm not in power anymore. And my grandpa's fought his entire life to, like, push this stuff for freedom, for us to have freedom. And it's sadly now his turn to be like, hey, I can't deal with it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I have no power. They're taking his VA. They might be taking his Social Security away. Shit that he paid off his whole life, and now he's not going to get it when he's old. It's shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't left versus right. This is pure good versus evil, like, at this point. And I want, and I still am, to be honest. I just struggle with it every day. I want to be the guy who is like, oh, not all people who voted for Trump are fascist pieces of shit. They're just some people who thought of an idea and fell for it. Like, fell for, you know, another sales pitch. But more and more, we're getting to the point of, like, the people who still support Trump are, like, no matter who they are going to be labeled as, like, at the start of Hitler's rise, you can name a lot of people who were probably normal people who thought Hitler was just going to fix Germany. But when, like, 3, 4, 5 months down the road happened, and, like, the fucking Jews were getting sent to camps, and they were still coping, those guys are Nazis. You've crossed the line. Yeah, I mean, you're no longer an ignorant person.
I would even go as far as saying, whenever Hitler was consolidating power, when they elected him chancellor and gave him the extreme power of Germany, basically making him like the emperor of Germany, that's when you're a Nazi. And that's where we're heading with Trump. Like, this same shit too, because you probably remember World War I, Germany did a whole bunch of dumb shit. They got crazy reparations that they had to pay. Fuck their economy, and that's how Hitler's rise occurred. This same, like, oh, America's in. Obviously, we're not at reparations, but
We're not even close,
our
but he's
economy
acting
is
like we
super
are.
bad.
Yeah, he's acting like
Exactly.
we're in
It's-
extreme fucking debt and like we're
and he's
fucking
making
drowning.
it worse, and he's still running on it, which is that's where.
The difference in the weird thing is the difference between Hitler and Trump is that even though Hitler was an extreme racist and an extreme piece of shit for killing all of those Jews, for in some weird twisted fucking way, he thought that was actually going to help Germany. Like, he actually thought that was going to help Germany. In some weird twisted fucked way. He wanted to have power, and then he was like, oh, I'm going to help Germany, right? And it obviously fucking didn't. But Trump is saying this, and then proceeds to do the opposite, and America is just gobbling that shit up. We're just fucking loving that fat orange man in there, bro. Just actually, like, it's like watching one of your friends that you know just goes full brain dead. Go, like, when I was in school, we would have, like, music fests, and we would be in other schools, like, teachers' rooms and shit. We would just fuck their room up. We would just fuck that shit up. And it's so funny until the next day, and then they have cameras. and it's the same thing, except imagine we didn't get in trouble because we were able to do mental gymnastics around my teacher. That's what's going on right now. Is that, like, Trump is the kid who would put every single paper he could find in the room in the paper shredder and then throw the paper shredder against the wall and then gaslight the teacher that he didn't do it. That's what we're in right now. It's kind of crazy. I don't know, like...
He's gonna, like, who evidently is a Nazi. Like, I just refuse to believe that it was an accidental 2 times Kyle.
That's what I'm saying. Accidental 2 times.
Liberals. It's like liberals have no teeth whatsoever. They just go, oh my God, can you believe I'm getting out of the country? I'm just like, you're gonna leave the country because of one guy with dyed hair plugs and a laminated face who makes a bad car and has an obsolete social media platform? You're gonna leave this? Why doesn't he leave? Why isn't he stopped? What are we so afraid of this guy who can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag?
You can take him on.
Like, why do liberals just sit back and not, they have nothing?
What are you doing?
This.
Okay.
This. You got to speak up about it. You don't just go like, oh my God, what? Like, just first of all,
who's he talking
it's
to?
like, I'm a stand-up
Some dumb
comedian.
He's like on a
It's not
podcast.
Some dumb
Yeah.
fucking bitch. That's who he's talking to.
Politicians. Where is
Some
their
girls trying to be
pushback?
like the
They're
lady Joe
allegedly
Rogan.
liberal.
Yeah.
You see this guy do this thing, you know what the end result of this thing is. Which all these neo-Nazis, not only are they stupid because they're neo-Nazis, they don't even look at what
I got my
he
paladin
did.
to level 70, Coger.
He ruined their country. And
Huge.
this idiot
You
is
just
gonna
run
try to
dungeons
lead
if
us
you want to
down that
hyper level
road
your character.
and then play it off and act like he didn't do what he just did.
That was the comedian Bill Burr. I was going through more footage of him expressing himself on current events, and I saw some footage of the Breakfast Club interview recently, and he was talking about the current climate in America, and it got me thinking, no one can actually suggest a legal way to save America now that the coup is finally complete.
This guy's tiled twice. Once in the front, if you missed it in the back. And it's just like, he still has a job. That guy still has a job. I don't understand why they're so upset with this country. It's like, you're billionaires. I think it's working for you. Like, you know, why?
That's my favorite quote. That's my favorite quote. You're billionaires. What could be wrong for you? What could be wrong with this country? You're fucking billionaires.
They know what's going on with the middle class.
You're great. Yeah, you're great. You're 40K. Your fucking Space Marine great-grandson is gonna be a fucking billionaire. And you're worried about how if I cut my dick off or not? Like, what? That's what they're worried about? If I cut my dick off? Like, bro, face the wall. Face the wall so quick, bro. So quick.
Telling everybody, you know, justify what you do. It's like, justify what you do.
Bill Burr's gonna end up
Piece of
dead.
shit car that
He
you're
will.
making that the government financed.
And he don't give a fuck.
People start to realize what they're attempting to do.
Just
to
like
Elon.
Robin Williams.
I hope
Yep.
to see that happen as well. I hope
After this video, Coger, I told Fig when we first started watching this, I'm convinced Robin Williams killed himself because he knew this shit was gonna happen. He knew it. If you watch all of his older shit, Coger, it's so political. It's so fucking political. And it literally is the same shit Bill Burr's doing. Just making fun of how dumb people are in politics.
Supports him. And look, this guy's got more money than he's ever going to know what to do with, but it's the gesture, to your point. We should say thank you to Elon Musk for taking his time, for taking the abuse. He doesn't need any of it, and that's the part that I think is so amazing. Grateful. Yeah. I'm grateful.
But you know what you just said? You said that he's the richest man in the world. There's nothing they can do to him. And that's all he proved. There's nothing anybody can do to him by throwing up when he did that.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean,
but there's no turning back. You're saying.
There is not a single IQ in that brain.
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient.
What I don't get is the amount of veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop, and then this guy comes in, you know, and does that.
Did I not say this about my grandpa? Like, not even just today. Like, all the time, bro.
Which is kind of, the whole thing, just none of it, like, tracks. Like, what do you do other than send out some angry tweets?
The people online said Bill Burr is absolutely cooking. He don't realize he's going to lead a revolution and then make jokes and complain about it. So they want you to tell them what to do.
That's one comment.
That is kind of funny. He would do that too.
These videos
he would say shit that start a revolution and then complain about how the revolution's going.
With America right now. One half of their population is
you got a bunch of pussies out here. You got a bunch of pussies out here shooting them with shotguns. Like, why don't you just blow them up? Like, type shit.
Sacrifice themselves to serfdom for billionaires who couldn't give two shits about them, and the other half aren't prepared to save their nation. They're either apathetic or too busy working and just keeping their head down and don't have any idea what's going on. I couldn't imagine any of this going down well in a place like France.
Look how calm they are.
Which, of course, I don't condone. Just like in the 1930s, people didn't condone protesting against the goose-stepping guys and the moustache guy, because he who saves his country violates no laws.
Yep. You guys know about this philosophy?
His cult keeps pushing that. That is dystopian.
And as President Trump himself
Look,
said,
they repeat it.
2 days ago, a man who saves his nation
violates no laws. What in the Space Marine fuck is this? What is this? The Emperor's will shall be fucking commanded.
And that's like, I'm thinking about it too, and I think it's so crazy and hard to actually do anything physically because you have to be inherently selfless to do it because you're going to get arrested for terrorism or you're going to get arrested for the rest of your life. Or both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, because what we're talking about by dethroning Trump is a coup against our government.
No, yeah, that's what he was saying. Well,
it's just so...
It's technically a coup against our government, but hypothetically speaking, just like how he bullshits it, what's a coup to an old government that doesn't exist anymore? If America doesn't exist anymore because Trump is taking it over, is that me taking over America or is that me taking over Trump's America? Same thing if, like, I took over Nazi Germany. You see what I'm saying?
That's where it's, if we kill Trump, or, okay, I'll reword it. If we
overthrow
change the status quo, does the past also change? Like, let's say we're changing it. You know what I mean?
Bro, you've read One Piece. What did Doflamingo say, bro?
But, see, you're right. But just Trump isn't the issue. Trump is part of the issue, but our system is so fucked. It has given him and Elon and these dumb fucks the ability to to abuse it. So just getting rid of, like, it's the equivalent of, I left a wound to fester, and now it's infected. And I'm only fighting the infection, but I'm not trying to heal the wound. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I agree to an extent, because I'm gonna be for real. This shit was not realistic fucking when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I thought if you stepped foot on the White House lawn, you would have been shot and killed. That's what I thought. And then January 6th happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, yeah, I understand America's fucked, but when I was a kid, America wasn't this fucked. Like, America's system was not... The Founding Fathers, yeah, like, okay, the reason why I agree with you is because when you read these books, or, like, I'm not saying you are, but, like, these other books that, like, open your eyes to the fuck shit of capitalism, these are people who are able to see through... Like, these people are so comfortable, they're able to see loopholes. And I'm not saying, like, they're bad people. I'm just saying they're seeing the loopholes. But if they don't follow the loopholes, then they're following a good system. Do you see what I'm saying? I've brought this up before where it's like, why does it matter? Because if the next person comes in, he could just reverse all of the shit that happened. You see what I'm saying? But if we just have good people and all, you can't change the system because that's humans. You can't change humans. Humans have been doing human shit forever.
That's where I think me and you, we agree to certain extents and we disagree, where it's, I think how fucked America isn't like that's how humans are. I think it's literally like corruption has like, it's businesses lobbying.
I know America's corrupt.
The rich,
it has
you know
led
what I
to
mean?
This. But what I'm saying is no matter what, humans are going to, like, there will never be, you will always need to fix the system.
Yeah, there will be some level of injustice.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. In America, I felt like when I was young was doing that. Like, yeah, there was some fucked shit in America, like I was telling you. Like, I very much agree with you, and we need to fix that. But we'll always, like, even, no matter how much shit that you would want, like, let's say we just do everything you want. And I'm not saying just you, like, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, perfect world, there's still going to be something that happens in that world, and you have to fix it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just... I don't think people realize that. They're just always, like, every Republican's like, oh, if we do this, our problem's solved. No. Once you're done with this, guess what? There's going to be another problem. There's always going to be another problem. And that's why, like, again, I think older America, right? But when we were younger, with Obama, like, Obama was fucking putting children in cages. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But he was still, dude, he made gay marriage legal. And he made, like, he made fucking healthcare and for children. Like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, strides towards a better future is better than what Trump is doing in my eyes. Even though our system is, like, giving money to Israel and doing, like, that's America. We're always doing some fuck shit. But as long as we're taking steps to be better and eventually we don't do that, like, again, think about it this way. Now, we think the big bad is funding Israel. Back fucking 70, 80 years ago, children were in the fucking mines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we don't got children in the mine. That's what my grandpa always tells me. I'm like, this shit's fucked. And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, I started working at 13 because I was so fucking poor. And I'm like, well, you know what? At least I don't got to do that. And I think people forget that because, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, America has made us comfortable because we're so great. We forgot how bad it is to struggle. So now, like I said,
I think
we got these politicians bitching about what's in my pants. That's all I wanted to say.
It was very much so, like, a lot of Band-Aid, like...
Yeah.
Oh,
it always feels like a Band-Aid.
We stopped children from working in the mines, but, you know, you're still super fucking poor.
No, yeah, and I'm not saying, like, but do you think all Americans in politics wanted that?
I'm agreeing with you. Oh, wait, what'd you say just right now?
I said, do you think, like, all Americans in politics wanted that when it's like, oh, well, we finally got rid of child labor... And it's like, well, we're all still poor. It's like, there's obviously those people who fought against child labor are also fighting to help the economy better. You know what I mean? Like, there's always somebody in office trying to make it better. Just like how Fig always taught me
I
about,
agree.
Like,
There's always someone.
Shelter. That's what I'm saying. We need, but when shit gets really bad like this, that's when the whole office, like, doesn't flip. But like Bernie Sanders, for example, is out, like, real hard right now. Shit like that, like with Martin Luther King Jr. Really extreme shit happens in America, and what Americans will do is wait till the very fucking end and then do some crazy fucking shit where we just stop the economy. We're just like, fuck you. We're just going ape shit. And then we get a bunch of Democrats or we get a bunch of Republicans in office because one side fucked up super hard. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they're trying to do, where they're like, oh, the left fucked up this hard, we gotta get Trump in office. And us lefties are sitting here like, yeah, just wait. You're gonna be fucking begging for us to come back into office. And, you know what I mean, though? Like, that's where, like,
I hear you.
Me and you, like you said, we disagree but agree a little bit, where I just think, like, yeah, they are Band-Aids, but for, like, to be honest with you, we can't sew up an injury when somebody's still opening the wound. We just have to put Band-Aids on it and hope to God they don't die. Like, that's what we have to do.
I think me and you agree overall, but I think in terms of the severity of, like, how to fix it.
I think this is real. I think I'm on the same level with you at this point. We're like,
well, I think we agree the severity is crazy, but how to fix it and, like, how to handle it. I think that's where we disagree a little bit.
I don't want to openly say what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it's like our founding fathers did some shit for a reason. And if they start adding segregation back to reality and, like, reverting gay marriage or whatever.
I'm gonna have to start going to the gun range.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen.
And I don't even like to say that. Like, I like to live a peaceful life, but I'm not gonna let our rights get taken away. Just like how my grandpa said, he's like, don't start worrying, Jake. And I was like, until when? When should I start worrying? He goes, when you go outside and you see a burn pile out there and it's of your history books or of just literature in general, that's when you need to start buying ammo. That's when you need to start buying ammo. And this is coming from a dude who came from a third world country who was revolting. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
he knows what's going to happen. And these other people who are rednecks online saying, like, oh, I know what's going to happen. No, the fuck you don't. No, you don't. You don't at all. You didn't read the history books that we read when we were younger. You didn't apparently take in what the Nazis did to the Jews. Like, they eradicated their history. There's no history left of these people. Like, we have it now because we killed the Nazis. All I'm saying is, just like America was back in the day, Trump wants this so bad. And I hate to glaze my grandpa so hard, but this is like what I agree with him on. He's going to push and push and push until he pushes the wrong group of people. Just like Hitler did. He allied with Russia, and he pushed and pushed and pushed Russia, and guess what happened? They flipped on him. Trump is pushing and pushing and pushing on these veterans. Wait until he goes for the Second Amendment. You think those Republicans are going to deal with that? You think they're going to be fine with Trump being like, hey, but people with mental disabilities. Fig, this is what you've been scared at your whole life. Your whole life, you were like, I don't want to be diagnosed with depression or whatever because I'm afraid they're going to take my guns. And you know who you were scared of? You were scared of the liberals doing it. Trump's talking about it right now. He's saying people with mental disabilities probably shouldn't have guns. Do you know what that leads to? The same shit you were worried about, Fig. It's the same shit you were worried about. That's what, like, I'm taking the shit you taught me, Fig, and I'm, like, trying to relay to you. I was, like, earlier in their election, I was like, hey, this motherfucker's doing the shit you taught me about, Fig. Remember when they were, like, saying that crazy shit that you thought the lefts were saying? Nah, bro. Like, they're actually trying to take your guns on the right now because they're afraid that when they start taking away all the veteran benefits, that the crazy fucking veterans with flashbacks are going to start trying to shoot up the fucking White House. You know what I mean? When they don't get their PTSD medicine, what the fuck are they going to do? Like, they're going to go fucking apeshit.
This is Serbia this week, protesting corruption. Imagine if America actually believed in freedom like they've touted for generations and rose to the occasion like this. The people's apathy will be the downfall of democracy worldwide.
And I believe that CNN and MSDNC, who literally write 97.6% bad about me, are political arms of the Democrat Party. And in my opinion, they're really corrupt and they're illegal. What they do is illegal.
Making it a crime to criticize the president is dictator stuff.
Constitution is nothing but a license for oil companies and foreign interests to destroy my beloved Wadia.
I recognize clips of this movie.
A dictatorship.
The Dictator.
Oh, be quiet. Why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could let 1%
This clip is the
of
one I
the
recognize.
people have all the nation's wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free, but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group, and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests.
Listen, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
I know this is hard for you Americans to imagine, but please try. I will tell you what democracy is. Democracy is the worst. Endless talking and listening to every stupid opinion.
The Trump administration is moving this country very aggressively into an authoritarian society.
And everybody's vote counts, no matter how crippled or black or female they are.
Maybe you guys in America need to rent Sacha Baron Cohen's The Dictator.
He recently hosted his own Olympic Games.
This shit's funny.
And this really shoot though.
Yeah.
At which he won 14 gold medals.
Sort of waving the gun at him.
Putin after winning every
If
election.
this is normal, then you're cooked. But
Yeah, literally
anything to
Putin after winning every
right?
election.
Mr. President, obviously you're concerned.
Or maybe journalists are the true enemy of the state.
She just became a big story tonight, right? Yes, sir. Did you see that?
Also, passing a law that creates a new mental illness called Trump derangement syndrome sounds pretty dystopian to me. Anyone who criticizes Trump could be sent to RFK's wellness camps or just straight up to jail, and also have their Second Amendment removed. In America, when you're classified as mentally ill, you lose your right to bear arms. I quote the American Constitution, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." For the above-average IQ people in the crowd, Americans also have a love affair with firearms and freedom. This bill and made-up mental illnesses like TDS will be a way to justify removing firearms from the American population that would or could show any signs of rising up to save their country from tyranny. They can't outright remove firearms across the country yet because the Red Hat cult are all gun-loving freedom fighters. They can't break that illusion just yet. Not
Do you
too
see where I was
overtly
coming from,
anyway.
Fig?
Or at least
The moment they do that, the Republicans are going to flip. They are going to flip immediately. That right there, Coger, I think is what makes America different from any other country. Because it doesn't matter how much you meat ride the right. If you take away guns to make sure that they won't kill you, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
They're gonna. I don't know what it is in the Republicans' heads, but that's when they're like, "Oh, that's a dictator." That's when it's dictatorship. Is when they take my guns. That's when it's a dictator.
at least they could put a facade over it.
Because then I can't shoot them.
Sticking it to the libs who are mentally ill. Do you get it? I want to share.
They can starve me and make me fucking
video
brain
talking
dead,
about
but if they
those
take my
things
guns,
and how the gesture
they take my
of
guns.
Elon Musk would normalize that crap.
This brings us to Frank's flag, which is, yeah, it's just unfortunate.
I didn't know it was going to come off like that.
Pretty sure you did.
I keep seeing reports locally of all this kind of like weird goose-stepping stuff going on. Even if they're mentally ill people that, you know, come out brandishing a weapon or whatever it is, or threatening people or doing crazy stuff, it is still normalizing and targeting these people. It isn't good. I've seen many of these reports, but I recorded just one of them the other night, all the way from the butt cracker in the middle of nowhere in South Australia, where, again, this stuff doesn't really happen.
Good evening. An accused knife-wielding Nazi supporter is tonight behind bars after a dramatic arrest in a crowded Rundle Mall.
One thing I can't wrap my mind around is, with how casual the Americans are about this, is the rhetoric of leaving NATO and undermining NATO with lines like, "What has NATO ever done for us?" Well, historically, America is the only nation to invoke Article 5, and the West answered their call, just like the Riders of Rohan to Gondor. Sadly though, the sacrifices of Canadians, British and Australian and many more nation soldiers are all in vain for Americans. The world just revolves around America and America alone. Selfish, self-absorbed, US #1, deep-fried fast food, dogshit TV, exporters of brain rot, big dum-dums, USA, USA. Sorry about that. I've resorted to pettiness, just like half of America has. In fact, I doubt after making these videos, I'll ever be welcome in that country ever again. But again, this is concerning on the other side of the world because all of this is coming for us.
These are the stupidest people you've ever met. The one I thought was just wonderful. There was a woman on supporting him, and somebody said, what do you feel about that time when he was recorded on the bus saying, if you'll forgive me saying so, that if you're a celebrity, women expect you to grab them or grab their p***?
Yeah.
And she said he would never have said that if he'd known he was being recorded.
What is left of the free world that believes in democracy must do what we can to protect ourselves from Mordor and the American sphere of influence that is coming for us. That's once they've finished destroying America itself. Ban Twitter, isolate America, boycott their products, unify Europe and the Commonwealth, moderate the internet from Mordor and America. Ironically, there will be choices that have to be made that will be labeled as a police state behavior in itself by the actual true fascists. Every accusation is an admission with these guys, as they protect their propaganda weapons to poison our nations. America won't have to physically invade places like Canada when they can just make us fight each other and collapse the nations from the inside out. The Commonwealth, that is the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand must stand united as we did against the axis of evil like our grandfathers did during World War II. I am just an internet clown, just like Bill Burr, an American, is just a comedian. People like himself, people like me, are not politicians. This isn't our job. It is not our job alone to be the voice of reason. Our leaders must rise to the occasion and save us from tyranny. If our leaders won't protect us from the new order,
legalize comedy,
then the people must be galvanized.
Billionaires do not have the right to buy elections.
America has fallen. It won't save itself until its society has collapsed and they are starving. And when their economy collapses, the poison in the water will have infected so many people that they will be so divided amongst each other that they will fight one another instead of the charlatans that had betrayed them. America has passed the point of return. Their Messiah has led them to paradise.
We don't want a king in the United States. We overthrew a king. We want a vibrant democracy, not all power resting in the hands of one person. It is outrageous that this guy sues media, sues ABC, CBS, Meta, threatening to investigate NPR, PBS. You know why? Because they dared to be critical of him. Oh, his feelings were just crushed. He wants everybody to bow down. Oh, you're great, you're terrific. Hey, Mr. President, if you can't take criticism, get out of politics.
Thanks to our reliance on the Americans' tech world, we'll have a tap of constant effluent targeting the impressionable young people and the weak-minded with disinformation and propaganda that will poison the rest of the world's democracies. The foundations of geopolitics for Mordor is in full swing. Those guys aren't messing around.
Only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow.
They have long-term plans and they are very patient.
You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible.
And sadly, all this talk makes me look like some conspiracy nut job, but this is all happening in front of our eyes. These aren't theories. This is happening. Just like the mustache-loving guy did the 2-time salute. It wasn't a gesture of love. And if you say that, you are cooked. I mean, he's still retweeting stuff like this. That's cooked. So a burger and fries walk into a bar, right? And they go to get a drink. And the bartender says, sorry, we don't serve food here. All right then, hey guys, do you remember when women belonged in the kitchen? Right, guys?
That one gets fig every time.
Hey guys, do you remember when the mustache guy was around? I reckon he was a guy you could go fishing with.
He was a guy I'd go fishing with.
Unlike Joe Biden. Right, guys?
I was in the kitchen when you said that.
The fish would just
Did you
fall
laugh?
into the ocean. He's that weak.
Yeah.
Something natural habitat.
Joe Biden. It's all Biden's fault, right? Equality for everyone. What a joke. Tax the rich elite. Empathy is for losers, right, guys?
The fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The empathy exploit. They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response.
And that's one of the things that people are wondering currently about America. If we're in the last throes of a dying empire.
Joe Biden.
To 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
It's all Joe Biden's fault. Joe Biden. Women having autonomy over their bodies.
You better watch out because we're coming after you. You better watch out because we're coming after you.
Gay people. Trans. It's Joe Biden's turn. I remember a time when I could beat people.
I think we take Canada and then we go right into Mexico.
Liberals. If you think I'm being dramatic, they're threatening to annex Canada. This is real. This is real life with real lives at stake.
How are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first.
This isn't a joke, but I guess this is the new normal now, isn't it? Idiocracy, anti-intellectualism, brain rot. We all play our little part in the world. I'm gonna make funnies about all of this until they start throwing the funny people in jail like they did in the 1930s.
I seem to have forgotten everything before 1945. Yeah, well, I actually was on a German talk show once. This is very true. I was on this German talk show and this woman said, Mr. Williams, why do you think there's not so much comedy in Germany? And I said, did you ever think you tried to kill all the funny people?
I had a hunch for years that democracy would come crashing down at the hands of a greedy few. I just didn't realize they would be so goofy.
I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy.
I can't do
Dude,
this.
that was